Okay. Hey guys, it's me. Welcome to my video. Today, we're going to talk about light. Light. Okay, so look at these lights. I've got these two lights. So watch what happens, okay? As I walk under the first light, my shadow appears here. Okay? And it comes out in front of me. Okay, but then as I walk to the next light, this shadow slowly begins to fade and vanish, and a new shadow comes. Here, you see? And again. So let's see that again. Oh, boom. You see that? 1, 2. Okay, so what does this mean? How does this relate to the second death, the second coming? How does it relate to waking up and sleeping? So, the way I think about it, the shadows are like the physical body, for example, and me looking at the shadows is like the awareness or consciousness observing the phenomenon. Now, so long as I'm identified with the phenomenon, then yes, the phenomenon is going to end, it's going to die, or a new phenomenon is going to take its place. But then from the perspective of the observer, then there is no change in the nature of the observer, only in the shadows underneath him. When Arjuna is afraid to fight in the battlefield, then Krishna says to him that you're mourning for that which does not need to be mourned for. You're weeping for that which need not be wept. Because don't you know that you were never born and you will never die? He who thinks the self is slayer or the slain is not in knowledge. He's saying the same thing. He's saying, that's your shadows, mate. They're just dancing in the light. There's no substance to it. And your death is merely aesthetic. Then in the Bible, it says, in Revelations, when he's talking about, I'm not sure about the context really, but he says that it's like the end of the old world and this new world is coming. And in the new world, everything is good and everything is great. And everybody gets to drink from the fountain of life. And God says that he will wipe away our tears and feed us from the fountain of life. But to all of the whoremongers, to all of the sinners, to all of the, gays or whatever the fuck. Not my personal view, but anyway. Then they will be put to the second death. And what is the second death? It's the shadow thing. Okay? For the observer, for that central identity, there's only one experience with multiple incarnations essentially going on outside of it. But the shadows themselves, they experience a second death. They feel the loss and the coming again. But for the observer, he sees the continuity between them. So then it's like the leaves of the tree. When they fall off, they might think they're dying, but the tree has a life outside of them. And in the same way, Christ has a life outside of the individual human beings who comprise his soul, And so it's like, I think that's what they mean when they, eat of the same bread and commune with Christ. It's like we're, that's one idea in Christianity, is that Christ's body is the church, it's the bodies of all the people. It's like a collective consciousness almost. And I think that new kingdom that we're going to inherit is not going to be one that's made up of more individuals. It's going to be more of a united feeling, like when you, in certain higher states of consciousness, you feel the expansion into a unified awareness. And so I think that's like with the shadows here. It's almost like my individuality is in a sense its own shadow, or its own chalice or prism which reflects the light of consciousness in a way. Does that make sense? Anyway, let's have a look at these shadows one more time before we go. There's one. Oh no, he's dying. Oh, here's another one. but I remain. Anyway,